Once upon a time, in a prosperous kingdom, the king, renowned for his wisdom and love of learning, faced an unusual dilemma. Despite being surrounded by learned scholars, the kingdom's most pressing problems remained unresolved. After much contemplation, the king announced an unconventional competition. The best scholars of the kingdom would compete against children randomly chosen from the capital's streets. The winner would receive a grand reward. On the appointed day, the castle courtyard buzzed with activity. The scholars stood confidently, while the children, wide-eyed with wonder, gathered in excited groups, whispering among themselves. The king announced, "Today, I present 3 challenges. The group that solves these problems the fastest will win the competition. For the first challenge, there is a golden chest hidden in the forest. Whoever retrieves it first shall pass this round." Each group received a map filled with clues. The scholars immediately began analyzing the map, debating the most logical hiding spot for the chest. Meanwhile, the children ran off together, eagerly following the clues without hesitation. By the time the scholars identified the most likely location, the children had already found the chest and returned triumphantly. The king smiled and announced, "Round 1 goes to the children." The scholars, astonished, vowed to redeem themselves in the next challenge. For the second task, the king presented stones of different sizes. "Your goal is to use these stones to build a stable tower," he instructed. The scholars meticulously analyzed the stones, debating strategies. They decided to carefully sort the larger stones first, believing it would ensure stability. Meanwhile, the children simply started building. Their tower collapsed several times, but they quickly adapted, learning from their mistakes. Before the scholars finished sorting, the children had constructed a stable tower. "Round 2 also goes to the children," the king declared, his eyes twinkling with amusement. The scholars' frustration grew, but so did their determination. For the final challenge, the king led everyone to the royal garden, where 2 entrances were blocked by massive stones. "Your task," he said, "is to clear the entrances. Use any means necessary." The scholars, drawing on their knowledge of physics and mechanics, began designing a device to move the stones. The children, however, inspected the stones briefly before seeking help. They approached the king's guards and nearby workers, requesting assistance. Together, with carts and tools brought from homes, they quickly cleared the entrances. The children entered the gates with joyous cheers, while the scholars were still sketching their designs. The king gathered everyone in the courtyard and said, "Scholars, your knowledge is vast, but your overthinking prevents you from addressing practical problems effectively. These children, with their simplicity, adaptability, and willingness to ask for help, have demonstrated that solutions need not always be complex. Sometimes, a fresh perspective and a willingness to act make all the difference." The children cheered, and even the scholars applauded, humbled by the lesson they had learned. From that day forward, the kingdom thrived, as its scholars embraced a more practical and open-minded approach to learning and problem-solving. Dear friends, as Albert Einstein once said, "Knowledge is limited, but imagination encircles the world." Let us embrace a childlike wonder, remaining open to exploration and discovery, free from the constraints of prejudice.